So at the start of mandatory quarantine, I was sitting in my workspace attempting to determine how I could better manage being a stay at home mom and a work from home mom with my schedule. I adjusted my schedule and made sure that my daily planner and the house calendar match completely in order to prevent the house from burning down while we were trapped inside for God knows how long. I planned out meal times, the kids' activities, anything you could think of. It was mapped out on a timeline on my daily planner and on the house calendar. And despite my workload being reduced by literally half, it still seemed like a lot of things just were not getting done. And for the life of me, I just could not figure out what in the world was going wrong. What can I do to make my already simplified life even more simple? I sat down in my workspace and looked over all of the little post-it notes I had stuck everywhere on my computer screen, my bulletin board, the desktop. I mean, post-it notes everywhere. I even had a couple stuck to my treadmill. And most of the post-it notes that I found, I couldn't even figure out what it was that I was trying to remind myself to do with these notes. And the bookshelf is what really caught my attention next because somehow this bookshelf became the catch-all spot for everything except for books. My desk was covered in notebooks and drafts that I was working on. It was crazy. And then it dawned on me, the chaos in my head was manifesting itself all over my desk, making it impossible for me to feel as if I was accomplishing anything. I have clutter on my desk and clutter in my head. I didn't link the law of attraction and clutter together until that precise moment. Clutter is more than just a jumble of items which just need to be put away, like junk drawers or disorganized closets and disorganized bookshelves, shoes that were dumped in the general vicinity of the shoe rack, and toys spilled out all over the playroom floor. No, clutter is what's holding you back from living the lifestyle that you want. The lesser parts of you that are getting in the way of your higher self shining through and thriving. This is what clutter is. The question of the day is, what actually connects decluttering to the law of attraction? What I've done was taken this topic and broken it down into manageable pieces. And most of these things you probably already do in your day to day life. So you don't have to give it more attention than necessary. The first piece is turbulence. Some people discover that clutter is a problem for them. Not hoarder season 2 clutter, but just enough to cause minimum conflict in their lives. Mess has a way of controlling our emotions, and when we feel awful, we tend to make the people around us feel bad also. So you see that minor disputes begin, and the individual which whom you're interacting with has absolutely no idea where any of these problems are coming from. And the truth of the matter is, you are probably unaware of why you're feeling this way too. But the cluttered bookshelf that's collecting all the clutter knows exactly where these issues are coming. The second piece is to make changes now and don't wait for the future. Consider your clutter as the present and the future because we tend to hold on to the past and preserve our memories. Clutter starts to accumulate. I've experienced this issue myself. In fact, I had a whole closet's worth of this issue. My bedroom closet was arranged throughout my life stages like some kind of museum. And in that closet, I also kept recollections of situations that I wanted to cherish in the future. Stuff that allowed me to recall memories of my past and things that I had every intention on using effectively someday soon. Your entire list of well intentioned plans has suddenly devolved into a huge waste of space. So now you want to host people over, or maybe look for a location to store some retail goods for your company, but you can't do this because you don't have any place to store the boxes or coats or guest bags and things like that. The next piece simply makes you question your belief system, your belief in the universe, God, a higher power, your higher self, your karmic energy. In our society, we have a tendency to want everything immediately. We've mysteriously lost the motivation to put in the long hours that it takes to produce high caliber outcomes. We take out our phones and turn to Google for rapid solutions to any of the questions that we may have, failing to realize that the law of attraction does not operate in this manner. The universe believes that you're ready to receive exactly what's being offered to you when it's being offered. You persistently resist the universe's attempts to bring your attention to something fresh by holding on to things that you believe you may use in the future. You lack faith in the universe's ability to arm you with precisely the tools that you need to create the atmosphere that you desire. Consider it this way. On your phone, there are 50 emails. For months, you keep these emails in case you require some of the information that they contain. Your mailbox is now too full to accommodate new messages that can immediately assist you while you wait for these previous emails to become useful. You've made the decision to store up what you believe to be good ideas because you didn't trust the universe to offer the appropriate knowledge or insight at the appropriate time. Simply delete all the emails to make the space that you need to get the new information. Don't filter through or screen anything. Simply select all, click the delete button, and go about your day. The next piece asks you to determine when enough is enough. When I was in the Army, I was stationed in a unit that had over 250 soldiers. We had a pretty small office building dedicated to us with a handful of small offices for the command teams and not much room for anyone else. This meant that the soldiers in my unit were just pretty much scattered all over Fort Lewis, wandering around like stray cats. Our unit's office building had what we thought was a small office on the bottom floor that we were using for storage. We were expected to keep all of the extra tools and supplies that we required in this back office where we could get to them when it was needed. However, we were unable to do much in this area since the company commander had a lot of extra equipment that he'd acquired from other units, in addition to some of his own personal items, even some outdated, pretty much garbage like VHS tapes and boxes of magazines, barbecue equipment, and other items that would be of absolutely no use to the soldiers. Later, when he ended up getting deployed, our new commander made the decision that everything in this room had to be thrown out because we needed extra space. We needed the space to store our equipment that we had. So everything was pulled out of this room and thrown in the trash. We allowed the public to take things that they wanted, and the rest was pretty much garbage. What we discovered after clearing out this room was that this wasn't just a small office, it was an actual conference room with seating for at least 30 to 40 people. Now that we've cleaned out this space, we have the room to accomplish more better things for the unit. So instead of delivering text messages or trying to gather soldiers for squad meetings and things like that, we could all meet face to face in this conference room. That way, any messages that needed to be sent out won't get lost in translation due to text messages. The fifth piece is very simple. You can't pick anything up if your hands are already full. A congested environment does not accommodate new things. This seems to be quite self explanatory. If you don't have anywhere to put something new, then you can't receive anything. The sixth piece tells us to compare and contrast. Take a moment to picture yourself in a boat on a river. Now, picture yourself struggling against the river flow, trying to reach a rundown tiny beach. Your muscles are stiff and you rapidly become exhausted. Despite the fact that you're sweating and battling to get to a packed, unclean beach with hardly any space to stretch out and bask in the sun, you attempt to row on. There are a few people on this disgusting beach that you know, and even though they aren't the most pleasant individuals on earth and they constantly swindle you, you stick with them because you know them. Meanwhile, there's a sizable beach located at the river mouth. It's lovely white sands, crystal clear water, a tiki bar. There's very few people, none of whom you actually know, but you know that networking with them would be fantastic because it would help you achieve your goals in life. All you have to do is stop fighting the river flow and simply allow the current to carry you to this nicer beach. However, you tighten up and cling to the notion of going someplace simply because it's familiar. The next piece is something that I talk about a lot, and that is manifesting gratitude. We must never stop being grateful for what we have. But in order to make place for new possibilities, we should also learn to be appreciative for having the ability to get rid of things that we no longer need. One of the most important components of the laws of attraction is expressing thanks. We should always be grateful for what we have, but we also need to know when to let go of the things that we don't need. Piece number 8, clutter destroys the spirit. Consider this. You gaze around your messy home and feel defeated. Thus, you look defeated. When you later enter the public eye, people judge you as being defeated. You've lost some of your confidence and are now struggling to complete anything. Your spirit has been killed by the piece number 9. Clutter is an accomplishment thief. Clutter is something that you don't want or need, but much like your vision board, the clutter is constantly in your line of sight. You're paying attention to it, and it's in charge of your feelings, thoughts, and general well being. Have you ever been working on anything for a while and suddenly realized to yourself, oh, I need to get more milk? And toss out the old milk. I neglected to empty the trash. My bedroom needs to be clean. I'm talking about you suddenly just stop working towards accomplishing a goal to consider the clutter. We do it all the time. You are knee deep in a project and then it just dawns on you, up, I need to go wash the dishes or put laundry in the dryer, fold clothes, you know, anything. Clutter will stop you from progressing in your goal. And last but certainly not least, get rid of things that don't matter. That way you can focus on the things that do matter. Stop retaining pointless items and just tidy up and clean up your space. Clutter is not cool, and it occasionally poses a risk to your health and well being. No one can justify or rationalize living amongst clutter. No matter how many reasons you come up with, there is no justification. Additionally, clutter isn't just a physical mess or a collection of trash. Thoughts and digital data might be considered clutter also. Anything and everything you keep around unnecessarily is clutter. Keeping items that only take up space and provide little to no purpose in your life is clutter. You might find it simpler to manifest the life that you want to live if you free yourself from the mess that you're currently in.